Breaking news this morning: Oklahoma will not be able to launch the nation's first religious public charter school after the Supreme Court deadlocked 4-4 in a big case that we've been talking about for a very long time on the separation of church and state. This decision by the Supreme Court of the United States upholds the decision by the Oklahoma Supreme Court, which said the proposal to launch St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School using federal taxpayer dollars violates both the federal constitution and the state law. Who would have thought? One thing that's a little bit odd about this case is that they didn't issue a written decision, and the case sets no nationwide precedent on the legal question of whether religious schools must be able to participate in taxpayer funded state charter school programs. They also did not let us know how each justice voted, which is also a little bit odd, but hey, I'm not a law scholar. In addition to that news this morning, last night, the House of Representatives passed the big, beautiful budget bill. The multi-trillion-dollar tax cut and spending measure now heads to the Senate, where they say they're going to make a lot of changes. When you add the Medicare and Medicaid cuts together, I believe it was around $1.4 trillion in those cuts combined, and lifted the debt ceiling by $4 trillion and added another $3.5 trillion in deficit through tax cuts. There's a lot of big numbers being thrown around about how much this would actually add to the deficit. I've heard $10 trillion. I've heard $20 trillion. Let's be honest. We don't know. We know it adds a lot, though. We know that. Yeah, that's certainly a thing. Keep in mind also in that provision was no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, deductible car loan interest. Keep in mind the no tax on tips. They still tax your tips. They just give you a deduction at the end of the year. No tax on overtime. Yes, they still tax your overtime. A lot of people are celebrating this morning thinking their checks are fixing to get bigger. That's not a thing. Your checks are not going to get any bigger. They're still going to tax your overtime. They're just going to offer you a deduction every year when you file your taxes. The deductible interest on car loans, cars have to be assembled in the United States and everything has to qualify. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the approximately 8.6 million people that would lose health care. Oh, and don't forget the Golden Dome. The Golden Dome. Ooh. I don't know if something has changed with technology, but we've been told for a very long time that you basically couldn't build a Golden Dome over the United States because our country's too big. It's not like Israel, where you're protecting a small area of land. You're protecting the United States as a massive area of land. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. Thanks.